Hey everybody, this is Lily. I'm the founder of Healing She Got Faith. I am also the host of the Healing She Got Faith talk show, and I am a community social worker by trade. I have a master's of social work degree, and I have thoroughly enjoyed using my community social work degree. I'm also a lover of St. Louis. Love St. Louis. I think it's the best city in the world. I don't care what anybody says. We the dopest city in the world. We make changes. We shake things up, we make things happen. There is nothing like the city of St. Louis, and the St. Louis girlies, we the best. Like, that's just it, we the best. I'm also an author, so I have a published book called Everyone Has a Story. I also have a finished product called Everyone Has a Love Story, and then I'm working on Everyone Has a Love Story Part 2. All in all, in this new era of myself, of healing, I am just simply human. I no longer want to be looked at as a superhero or anything like that. I think I used to want that, but now I just want people to see me as human. Like, I think so many of us try to be this strong person, and really, like, we're just suppressing who we truly are. And so I just want to encourage everybody to just really look within themselves and see what they truly want and move forward with that. I thoroughly love what I do in life. I thoroughly love podcasting, so I'm excited to be back. So this is my reintroduction to the world. Also too, I be randomly singing, but I really can't sing, so there's that. But yeah, welcome back, y'all. Hey, welcome back, Faithers. This is Lily. I am the founder and the host of Healing She Got Faith. It has been quite some time since I have recorded. I think the last time I recorded was in April. And just to be completely transparent, I was just going through a lot of transitions with my business. I ended up going back to work, and the type of job I had, life just got away. So I am finally back. I thought this would be such a great time to come back because I'm entering my grief season. It's a grief season. And seeing as how Healing She Got Faith is all about grief, I thought, what a better time than to come back. So welcome to episode 120, and we will be entering the Welcome Back series. So I will catch y'all in the icebreaker. Welcome to the Healing She Got Faith talk show. Welcome to our icebreaker. So if you have been a long time listener, then you know that I usually pull some affirmation cards, and I think eventually I will get back to that. But since it's been a while, I just kind of want to catch us up and just kind of talk us through what this episode is going to look like. What are these next couple of episodes? Is Healing She Got Faith the talk show? Is it back? What is happening? And so first of all, I just want to say happy Monday and welcome back. This is episode 120. And as you all know, I have been on a break. And while on this break, I have been trying to just figure things out, figure out what am I doing, what am I trying to do with Healing She Got Faith, the talk show, my books, my career, being a social worker, and just things of that nature. I have really just been in a place of really trying to figure out exactly what it is that I want to do and what I'm trying to do, and what does this thing look like. So on top of transitioning out of full-time entrepreneurship, which we will be talking about today, I am transitioning back into working. And so what does Healing She Got Faith look like? What does this era look like? Because it seems like I'm ending an era and maybe even starting a new one. Not quite sure, but we're figuring that out. So, life has been hard. I went to Costa Rica in July. I was a keynote speaker for the She Foundation Empowering Conference. This is my second time being a keynote speaker. And I did an activity where I was reflecting with the participants, and I just broke down crying because life has just been so hard. These last couple of years have been extremely hard. Honestly, to the point where, like, I don't even know how I'm recording. I have this big old iPad with all these notes in my hand. I don't typically record over here, but my creativity was just flowing over here. And so I think I'm also becoming okay with that as well. I'm becoming okay with, I just don't do things traditionally. I just don't do things the way things are supposed to be done. My life has just never functioned that way. And so I think I've been trying to operate in a very traditional manner, and I'm just not traditional. And I'm also figuring that out. Like, what does that mean? So the last time we left off, we were talking about grief season and mental health, because May is mental health awareness. So it's all about like making society aware of all the mental health issues and just mental health, anything. Making society realize like what is mental health, the difference between mental health versus a mental illness, what are the organizations in this world that provide mental health awareness, resources, and things like that. And that was very timely because I was dealing with a lot of grief and keeping my mental health in check, to be quite honest. I was going through a really hard time where I needed money. My business was failing, and I was over here trying to bring awareness to mental health, and the whole time I'm fighting my mental health. And so it was very timely, to say the least. All in all, I needed a break. So since 2020, I have been trying to run a business, a brick and mortar that I am in, and produce a podcast and create content. And to be completely honest, it was just a lot. I also tried to write books. I went and got a publishing certification, got an editing certification. Just been doing a lot and just was not seeing the fruits of my labor. I mean, the last couple of episodes that I recorded prior to the hiatus, probably had the most views, and I had the most views because I was bringing on guests. So I will be bringing that up. I do have a couple guests lined up for this podcast that I'm excited about. To be honest, like nothing just seemed to be working. Nothing seemed to be working, and it was just a really hard reality for me. It was a really hard decision. Again, I needed money. I felt like I had worked so hard not to be in survival, and I just was surviving, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it, and that was just really hard for me. Started looking for jobs. I accepted a couple positions. Even though I was good at them, I just did not enjoy them. Like, there was just nothing to enjoy about it. And I think like that's a part of life too, that people assume like because you're good at something you should do it, and just because you should or could, just because you could doesn't mean you should. And I think like that's where I was like, I'm really good at a lot of stuff, but I don't enjoy a lot of the stuff that I'm really good at. A lot of these jobs, they were like one-on-one type of work, working with kids, and yeah, like I'm phenomenal with kids. Yes, I can do the one-on-one work, but I don't enjoy it, and I just never have. I've just never enjoyed that type of work. And so I think just coming back in the today of things, just realizing that podcasting was always part of my vision. It was something I really, really enjoyed. I always wanted to be on the radio, and I started off with the Healing She Got Faith talk show on the radio, which was really cool for me. But that didn't last long, so I created my own platform, which has been great. From the 2 views to, I think before I left, I was like 100 views, which was great. So I think just being in a place of just understanding that life is going to life. And I think a lot of us have been enduring that. We have been experiencing a lot of life. And so in this podcast today, I just want to sit and kind of talk about the hiatus and welcome us back to the Healing She Got Faith talk show. And that is your icebreaker for today. All right, guys, I will catch you at the topic of the day. Okay, welcome back to episode 120. Honestly, today we are just gonna kind of talk about the hiatus that I took. I took a really long hiatus, and it started off really because I got a job that's a summer camp, and within the summer camp it just was really hectic. I didn't have time to record, plan. I had content planned, I just didn't have time to like sit down and record. The summertime just ended up being way more hectic that I had vision doing me, and then time just got away, and I was also just battling like what was I supposed to be doing. Every week I was like, I need to record. I mean, I even had brought my microphone, laptop, and like all my podcast stuff out to the camp, because it is a camp that like I was spending the night out there, and things were just really busy and I just couldn't get it. I was also battling that I think I was coming to terms that I was never supposed to be an entrepreneur. And I was coming to terms with, I have to be okay with like, this is my story. Some of you may or may not know, my first book is called Everyone Has a Story. And in that story, I basically just walk through how I realized everybody has a story, no matter what we feel or think about them. Everybody has a story. And in that, like, just recognizing my own story and recognizing like all the acceptance of the past, present, and future. And so I was having to re-go through that because I was entering a phase in where I was realizing I was letting entrepreneurship go. I knew eventually I would have to transition out of full-time entrepreneurship, and I was going to have to go get a job because money was so low, things were so low, things were not looking good. I literally spent the last 4.5 years putting my heart and soul into this beautiful building that I have created and I absolutely love, but it brought me nothing. And I hate to say nothing. Nothing is not correct, because I ended up with a beautiful space that anybody who comes here thoroughly has a good time. When I host community events, they're very good, but I needed money, and it was not bringing in money. I was not bringing in the business. And a couple things go into that. One, I was not ready to be a business person. My business plans were not good. I did not have investors. I did not have a community. Let's talk about this. Some people are going to hear, I did not have a community, and be offended. There's a difference in support. Like, you can support somebody and be super, super proud and never actually physically support them. Like, you support them on Facebook, you support them from a distance, you text them, oh, so proud of you, love you, thanks for the prayers. But then there's also supporters who actually come. Like, and those are the folks who buy the tickets. Those are the folks that donate to you. Those are the folks who come into you. I had a lot of supporters that fall into that first realm of things. I had a lot of people who, once I was done, like once I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to like go out of business, essentially. Like, people like, oh, that makes me so sad. You have such good program. And I was like, I can't have a good program because I haven't had clients in years. Literally years. Or did I have that may not be true. That may be me over exaggerating. I started to do community programming, which ended up being good. Like, I would get like 10 people per program, which was good because I can only really have up to like 10 to 15 people in my space anyway at one time, especially like the spaces where I'm doing like different activities. So essentially they would be sold out, which would be great. But then it turned into, I was doing a lot of stuff for free. I was getting a lot of people who come and just wouldn't pay. And that's the thing, like, people assume that I had money, and it was like, how can you guys assume that I have money when a lot of y'all are doing a lot of this stuff for free? And so that was just a harsh reality for myself. Excuse me. That was just a really harsh reality for myself. And so I just had to like be open and really just really understand that like my time as being a full-time entrepreneur was coming to an end. The flip side to that was I do have a beautiful building that I can still utilize and still create the vision that I see for myself, which is creating community and creating the things I want to create. Currently, this building serves as my office for my full-time job, because that's another thing. I'm like currently working 2 jobs plus still trying to figure out whatever this is. And I have a part-time job that takes up a lot of time. I feel like my part-time job probably takes up more time than my full-time job. which is, you know, which is fine. I love both my jobs, and I've been really blessed to be at two really good jobs, and I've been really lucky to enjoy them and want to come back and not feel stressed out compared to like other jobs and things like that. But one of the realities was I just had a lack of support when it came to it, and it was frustrating because like I'm one of those people, like I probably over support. You know, like if I really like your product, I'll buy like 15 things from you. If I love your events, I'll go to every event, and I'll always comment on your Facebook. I'm almost like one of those annoying supporters, right? Like when I really love you, like I'm downright like down for you. And I wasn't receiving that back. And so it was starting to get hard because like I was spending all this money. One of the realizations that helped me realize like I probably could no longer do this was canceling Valentine's Day this year. That was heartbreaking because I actually created Valentine's Day from like people asking me to create it. And the first year I did it, like we sold out. It was great. The second year, like I canceled it on a Monday, and like by Friday, everyone was like, I was waiting till Friday to get paid. And I was gonna buy my ticket then, but like I needed $700 by like that Wednesday, and it was Monday. So I was like, I couldn't like put out the money and then like nobody bought their tickets. Like I can't go based off of like, oh, I was just waiting to get paid, whatever. So yeah, once that was canceled, I realized like I don't think I can do this anymore because it was just too much. It was just way too much. Moving forward though, I think I am gonna just plan out a couple events a year, not too expensive or anything like that. I do have somebody who really wants to do Valentine's Day this year, so I will start meeting with her in November, and we will plan for a February Valentine's Day. I did a silent book club that was really, really cool, and people have requested me to do that again, so I think I'm going to go through my schedule for the end of the year and for next year and get that going. And then I want to bring the podcast back. Recently I've had like at least 4 people ask about recording, and I just physically haven't had the time, but I'm starting to get into my transition of things, and so I definitely think that I'm ready to jump back into recording. And honestly, me recording this first episode is just me sitting here. Like I wanted to be done with everything like 2 hours ago, and I wasn't. And I was like, I came over here. It's on my to-do list to do this. I'm gonna do it. And so, this is episode 120. Honestly, we're gonna call this the Welcome Back series because we're back. But it's really hard, just to be completely honest. It's hard to tell people that I'm no longer in full-time entrepreneurship. It's hard to express to people that like I don't feel that I was ever meant to be in entrepreneurship. I really didn't have a good entrepreneurship journey. Like even with being an author, like they call it the authorpreneurship journey, but like if you become an author, you're an entrepreneur, like point blank period, because you're selling a product and you want people to buy it and you want to make money. You put your heart into a project, and you need the buy-in from consumers to fulfill the product, the need for the product. And when it's not happening, like I spent probably a salary's worth of money on my first book and probably only made $1,000, and that was heartbreaking for me. I probably spent so much money in this building and didn't make a fraction of it back. And so like it's really hard to have those conversations. One thing I will say though is that like I have learned a lot, and I'm in a really good space now. I'm in a really, really just great place where I'm at now. And now that I'm out of that space where I don't need any help anymore, people are like, why don't you just, shut up. When I needed the help, y'all weren't there. Okay? Don't try to ask me like what I could have done better. It doesn't matter because I'm done. Wash my hands. It's done. I started a new journey. If you want to support, you will support. If you don't, it's okay. But like it's okay to hear my story and be like, dang, like she had to make a hard decision and move on with your life. I've talked about this before, but like everybody don't need your advice. And when I did need advice, nobody was there. And it's just the complete honest truth. Like just nobody was there. I asked for help. I asked for money. I was very vulnerable in running my own business because I was the only one who did it. And there were things I could have done better, you know, but the reality was I was doing it by myself. And when you are truly building an empire, you cannot do it by yourself. And that was my issue. I could not find a solid foundation of my community who could help me build this empire. I had a lot of people who believed in the vision, but they couldn't commit to the vision. And there's a difference. You can believe in it, but not be able to commit. And there's a difference in that. And you know, there's a thing like nobody's going to love it the way you do because it's your vision. And that's very much true. However, there still needs to be a buy-in from investors, community, and people like that. And I just wasn't in a space that to where I have that. And I still don't have that. Like, I'm in a season of really developing my community and really developing, like, the people that I really want here and the people that love me. You know, I know people mean well, and I think that's great. I think people mean well. I think people want to see you do good. I think people have really good intentions. However, like when I say, hey, I closed my business, and you say, oh, it doesn't have to be for everything, that's really, it's irrelevant to say it. Or if I tell you I still have my building, and you say, well, if you're in debt, why would you keep your building? Why does it bother you? It's none of your business why I keep my building. You know, yeah, I don't need to know that I don't have a mortgage on my building. You know, like I shouldn't have to explain it. It should just be like, oh, okay, cool. Like, how can I support? Like, sometimes we have to stop just being nosy or just be honest and say like, hey, like, I really don't care to help you, but like, I'm just being nosy right now. So like, if you want to tell me, I would love the tea. But, you know, I think for people out there, entrepreneurs, authors, just anybody out there, I think anybody that's out there, if you're really struggling and you have to give up your business, I want you to know like you're heard, you're seen, and it's okay if you do. It's not the best feeling in the world, but it's okay if you're having a really rough time in business. I want to encourage you that it won't always be that way. I had some really, really good runs in my business, and it was great when it was great, and it was terrible when it was bad, you know. But also to make the best decision for you and make the best decision for your health. Just because you own a business doesn't mean you have to sacrifice and die for your business. One of the things that like I always poured into my business is because like I'm not married, I don't have any kids. At this point in my life, I don't know that I will experience anything like that. You know, that's a whole separate podcast. But so when I did stuff for my business, I would use that as like my baby shower or my bridal shower or just things, so that I didn't want to wait until those other things started to happen, because I didn't want to be one of those people who waited her whole life for something that may or may not happen. You know, I was in therapy doing a lot of self-reflection and learning, and so like having to make difficult decisions, having to pull forward, I really had to get in a healthy spot to make a sound decision for myself. And I cannot express this enough. Like, I have 2 really good jobs. I'm really happy. It feels good to have consistent money. I'm really just in a good space. What I'm struggling or what I'm trying to figure out right now is just the balance of everything, right? Like the balance of work, the balance of owning my own brick and mortar, the balance of social life. You know, right now I tell people like I create my own social life, but the reality is like my free time is never the typical free time. Like, I create my own free time, and I've always been like that, whether I work for somebody or I own my own business. Like, I've always been a busy person, but like I prioritize what I want, and that's just what it is. So yeah, so this is it. Welcome back. I do encourage everybody to love you the way you love the world, because I think it's important. I think it's important for us like to pour in that same energy. Like, I could have kept going with Healing She Got Faith. I could have not got a job. I could have still been struggling. but I wouldn't have been loving me the way I love the world, and I wouldn't have been doing everything that I preach, I guess. And so I think that was really important. I had to make this decision for myself, and I am really happy. My house is coming together. I'm just doing things. I feel like I've been in a years-long depression and survival mode because I haven't had the money. Every day I'm like waking up hustling, selling books out my trunk, like really like trying to get the buy-in from people, and it just wasn't working. And now like it just feels really good to be in a place where I don't have to beg for money. So it feels really good. I'm really excited to be back on the camera, back on the mic, back in the studio. I'm really excited for that. Things are just really good. And so again, I just want to say welcome back. This is the welcome back series. I'm super excited. So I love you, but love you the way you love the world, and I will catch you next time. So we are in episode 120's affirmation, and so our affirmation is we are back and better than ever. We in this thing, okay? I wrote this I probably wrote this like 2 months ago, and I really want to read out the notes. Actually, I will. So this is the affirmation, but I'm gonna read out the notes. I wrote this. I don't remember when this had to be. I probably wrote this over 2 months ago because I was planning on like a September 1st. Actually, I was planning on the August 1st return, or whatever the first Monday in August was. But so it's my notes. See here, you can zoom in. Excuse me. So it says, "Hey Faith, there's happy Monday. Welcome to episode 120. I have been on a hiatus. The last episode we had was May 6th. We were in our grief season series, and we discussed all things grief. As we enter this, I want to call this the Welcome Back series. I have a list of things that I want to discuss, and I also want to work on rebranding some things. So with that being said, welcome back. So the topic is welcome back. I have been on a break and trying to figure out what I'm trying to do. Life has been hard, and I'm trying to figure out what the next steps are. So the last time we left off, we were talking about grief season and mental health, and that was a very timely thing because I was dealing with a lot of grief and keeping my mental health in check. I needed a break. Since 2020, I have been trying to run a business, run a brick and mortar, produce a podcast, and create content. It was a lot. To be honest, I did not see the fruits of my labor. Business was very slow, and it didn't seem like it was going up. And to be honest, it hadn't. I have a second book that is just sitting here because I couldn't get that off the ground. It was a lot, and I came to a place where I needed money. I was starting to go back into survival, and I slowly started to lose myself, which I did not like, and I needed to get out. So I started looking for jobs. I started searching and even accepted a couple of positions. Even though I was good at them, some of them I did not enjoy, and it was not right within the spirit. One thing I have become okay with is that just because I could does not mean I should. This was a journey of letting go of all control of just letting go of all control and just allowing things to happen and knowing that everything would be okay. Knowing that everything would be okay was a perspective shift because I was always waiting for the bad things to happen. I was jaded. I had become pessimistic. I had to check myself with that. I was in therapy. I was doing all the self-work and started consistently working out, but nothing could fix this heartbreak. A heartbreak is exactly what I was dealing with. This is a part of business that people do not tell you about. This is the part of healing that people do not like to talk about. And this is the part of healing people do not discuss. And let me backtrack and say this. Maybe they do, and I just haven't found the community of people. I mean, hell, I attempted to create it, but I did not see much of it. But one thing about me, I no longer put on a facade. Okay, Lisa, sprinkle. This is it. The real, the raw, bereaved, and healed. Ooh, I love that. Anyways, if you can relate on any level, welcome back. So, yeah, those were the notes. I wrote it like 2 months ago. And so the affirmation is, we are back and better than ever. We in this thing. So I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be back on the camera. And I'm excited to get back to editing. My creative juices flowing. So I'm excited. And I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say. I look forward to seeing you guys on TikTok. My TikTok followers, y'all are the best. My Instagram people, y'all the best too. My Instagrams, actually, you know what, my videos be doing numbers on Facebook more than Instagram, but my TikTok following, y'all, like, I love the way y'all interact with me. So anyways, yeah, I'm excited to be back, y'all. So this is a shorter episode, but that's okay, because we back. All right, I love you, but love you the way you love the world.